Has it been raining at your house? I know around my house there have been some terrible storms happening. And so I was thinking about this, and I've been thinking about the promise that God made us through that rainbow that He had appear in the sky first when Noah's ark rested and Noah came out, just promising that He would never flood the earth again. And so today, let's make our art about the rain that has been happening and the awesome promise that God gave us about never flooding the earth again. This project is one that you will need a white crayon for. I will be drawing it out using a gray crayon just because you can see gray better than white on the video. And if you don't have white, you could always use gray. But in the end, a white crayon works much better. You also will need some heavy paper that could work for painting, and you will need some watercolor paint in the colors of blue and black or gray. If you don't have paint, I have a video on what to do if you don't have paint, how you can make yourself some paint.
It was rather loud outside, so in case you couldn't hear me, we need crayons, some white paper that's thick enough to paint on, and later we will need some paint. So this is what we are making. I will use white to make the raindrops and the droplets on the water. But you won't be able to see if I draw with white in this video. So you'll see me drawing with gray. And you can use either white or gray. They both work. White looks a little bit better. And then you'll also need the rainbow colors. So this is what essentially the drawing will look like. And then we'll paint on it. So let's get started. We first need a ruler, and we want to find halfway, so we measure the whole length of our paper. We're using our paper vertically, like it's taking a shower, not horizontally, like it's taking a bath. And we're going to draw a line across right there at halfway, or about at halfway. And then I'm just making little dashed lines to be our rain. Now this would be done in white typically. Like if you have a white crayon, use your white for all of this. I'm doing it in gray so that you can see what I'm doing. When that raindrop hits the bottom half underneath that line you drew, you can sometimes draw some little circles that are going around it, but it doesn't need to be done every raindrop, just a couple here and there, and that's supposed to look like splatter, like, you know, when water hits a wet surface, like a little ripple effect. Now leave that right side without anything on it because we need to draw our rainbow now. And the rainbow starts with red. Somehow I lost my red crayon, so I'm using a red violet today. You can use red if you want. You don't have to follow my red violet lead here. And you want to color in that rainbow as fully as you can so that you don't see the white of the paper at all. Because later we'll be painting right over top of this rainbow, and if it's not fully colored in, then it will put little pieces of paint in your rainbow. Now the bottom part you color much lighter because it's supposed to be a reflection on water. So that I do not color in fully where I can't see the white of the paper. I'm coloring it much lighter, not pressing near as hard on my crayon. Next, I'm grabbing orange, and I'm going to do the same thing, drawing a part of the rainbow and coloring it in fully. Now your rainbow can look different than this. It doesn't need to be coming in from the right side and going down to, you know, a little bit right of middle. It could start in a cloud. It could be going the whole way across your paper. You know, you get to make artistic decisions like this. For some reason, I really like this rainbow coming in from the right, so that's where I put mine. But this is your art, so you get to put your rainbow wherever you would like. Next is yellow. And I don't know if you knew this, but the rainbow has a name. It's Roy G. Biv. I don't know if you've ever heard. Roy G. Biv stands for red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Now, I didn't have an indigo crayon. It's kind of a mix between blue and violet, and so I didn't have an indigo crayon today, so I will not have indigo in my rainbow. But if you have an indigo crayon, you can feel free to use that. So now I'm doing green next and trying to color that in really nice and neat. After I finish that upper part of green, I'll do the lower part lighter, and then we'll move on to blue. So the blue we will put in right next to green, trying to color it in really nice and neat, just like we did the other colors, filling in all the white of the paper, and then we'll do the reflection part lighter again. The last color I am going to do is purple. Like I said, if you have indigo, that would go in between the purple or violet and the blue. So I do not have indigo, so I'm just using my purple crayon, coloring in solid to cover up the white of the paper, and then the reflection is done lighter. And now we're going to return to making our dashed rain. I do want to say that I have my rain coming in as dashes from the left side, kind of slanted diagonally. But if you wanted, your rain could come straight down or it could slant from the right side. These are all artistic choices that you get to make your art as creatively yours as you would like. And continue also making those little ripple marks on that puddle that is reflecting all this. It could be a puddle, it could be a lake. It's not really defined as what it is in our picture. And there is the drawing part. So next we will be painting. If you do not have paint, I have made a video on what to do if you don't have paint. So you can stop this video and watch that before we get started on our paint. For our paint, you will need water, brush, and paint, and maybe a paper towel if you would like that. I went through and redrew mine with a white crayon, since that is the suggested way to do this activity. If you only had gray, that it will work fine. I did paint my gray one, and I can show you that later. But anyways, so I'm getting ready my blue paint and my black paint. So I'm just putting some water, a couple drops of water in each of those. And then after that, I want to wet the surface of my paper, the entire surface of my paper. And this is called wet on wet. We're going to paint wet paint with a wet brush on wet paper. I noticed a few little spots of crayons in my paint, or in my water there, so that's what I was trying to get up. But anyways, just putting enough water on the surface of that paper that you can see the shininess, but not so much that it is puddling. You do not want puddles of water, but you do want to see a shiny surface. And what this is going to do is going to allow our blue paint and our black paint to easily flow together instead of making just spots of paint on the paper. And you want to try to paint the bottom half lighter than the top half. And so I do that by not picking up more paint after I've painted on the top half. I just use what's left on my brush and come down and work on the bottom half. And then I'm just kind of smushing my brush smushing my brush around on that surface of the paper to make sure that the paint is mixing. And the black will mix with the blue, and it will create a dark gray and a grayish blue. And that way it'll look like a stormy sky and be a nice contrast in comparison to that bright rainbow. And as you can see, this is pretty simple because this is all it is just smushing the paint around until you get it looking the way you like, and then you're finished. Now, you notice there's a couple droplets of water on my crayon. Just to use a corner of a paper towel, and you can wipe right over your crayon there and it will pick it up. But you don't have to wipe it off on the reflection part unless you like that look. And there it is. That's the finished product with the white crayon. And this is the finished product with the gray crayon, so you can see there's a little bit of a difference. Thanks for creating with me.